Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you know how we do it. You know how we do it. Yes, we do our super thanks first because these people are so important. They come through when they don't have to and support the channel. And of course, I have to put them first. So let's run that beautiful bean footage. All right, y'all, I want to give a really quick thank you to all of the readers who decided to come on through and support the channel, and I appreciate it so very much. And first up is the one, the only, Eulette. Yes, Eulette is the one and only. She is absolutely extraordinary. She is a ride or die. She is always coming through. She's always supporting. And it gives me so much comfort every time I go in the comments and there is Eulette. She is absolutely the best. So thank you, Eulette. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for being here and being a part of this community. And Berkeley Melrose came through. Yes, Berkeley came through. She is the smartest. She is the wisest. She is the sweetest and the kindest of them all. She really is. And I am so grateful that she is a part of this community. So thank you, Berkeley. Thank you for coming through. And most of all, thank you for being a part of this community. You make it so much better. And the coolest came through. Yes, she did. Yes, cool cat Harlem came through. She is the coolest. She is the kindest. She is the wisest. She is the sweetest of them all. She really is. And she is a part of this community. She is a part of our tribe. And how lucky are we to have her? So thank you, Kat. Thank you for coming through. But most of all, thank you for being here. And Jackie T came through. Yes, Jackie T came through over there on Buy Me a Coffee. Now, I'm not saying her whole name because I don't know if she wants me to do that. But Jackie, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for just coming through and letting me know you're out there. I appreciate it so very much. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for buying me a coffee and thank you for being here. Now, I want to say this about Buy Me a Coffee. Sometimes when you buy me a coffee over there, I just get your email. And so I don't get your name. And that is the reason why I don't add it to the roll call of thank yous and shout outs because I don't want to put your email out there. But when a name comes through like Jackie's did, I am so thrilled because I can add you to the shout outs. So that is the reason why sometimes if you buy me a coffee, I don't put it on the shout outs because all it's showing is your email address. And I don't want to put that out there. And if your name comes through on Buy Me a Coffee, I'll never put your whole name. I will always put an initial for your last name to keep your privacy. All right, with all that said, y'all know what time it is, and y'all know what I do when I am putting the read together. I hit these internet streets, and let me tell you, that's exactly where I have been. And we have some articles we're going to talk about. Yes, we have Jabo. He has been running around, running off at the mouth. I'm telling you, when he is not cramming McDonald's down his throat, he is talking about Harry and Meghan these days. And so we're going to talk about two articles that were written about what he has said. He was over there on the Daily Beast podcast, running off at the mouth. And he also was running off at the mouth in the Daily Express. So we're going to talk about those two articles. And we're going to talk about another article that was in, I think it was in the Mirror, about Carol Middleton. Yes, we have something to say about Carol, and we're going to talk about her. And we're going to talk about the trolls a little bit. They are losing their minds because of what we talked about yesterday in my last podcast about how Nile Gardner fell flat again trying to get Prince Harry's visa information. Yes, and they are losing their SHIT about that. And we're going to talk about a troll. Y'all know those twins, you know, those two dudes. Well, one of the dudes is talking about David Foster's foundation and doing some kind of deep dive into it. A foundation that has been around for 40 years. And here she is all of a sudden, because Harry and Meghan went to a gala, she wants to do a deep dive. That is the reason why I said you cannot compare. You absolutely cannot compare squatties to these derangers. I mean, only the Rangers do stupid stuff like that. But we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about that little pipsqueak Jack Royston. He wrote an article saying that Willie and Kitty are just so far ahead of Harry and Meghan in AI. And wait till y'all get a load of some of the videos that he is talking about. And all I can say is, if this is what they are so far ahead of Harry and Meghan in, let them have it. Yes, let them have it. Harry and Meghan do not need to be bothered with this kind of nonsense. And we're going to talk about that. And of course, we're going to have other things. You know, we sprinkle other things in there as well. And y'all know what y'all need to do. Y'all need to lock in and understand that I'm not going to keep you long, but I will keep you entertained. And we're going to start with this. And this was in the Telegraph, and it was written by Celia Ward. And if you know anything about Celia Ward, that is the one who is married to Piers Morgan. Yes, the one that he is trying desperately to hold on to, because she has been found out. Yes, she has been found out because she was outed when it was a big security breach and news dump about Ashley Madison. Now, you might ask me, what is Ashley Madison? Ashley Madison is a website that married people use to go on there and find hookups. And guess whose name was among the married people that was exposed for being on Ashley Madison? Well, that would be Celia Ward. Yes, the one, the only Piers Morgan's wife. And the very same woman that streamer History Talkery ran Pierce off of his own show because he absolutely went on his phone and showed where Celia Ward was laying by the pool crushing on someone who was cleaning the pool. And so, yeah, he absolutely ran Pierce off of his own show because he was insinuating that Pierce was married to a hoe. So, Celia Ward still out here feeling as if she has some kind of moral high ground to judge Harry and his mental health and how he has chosen to address issues in his life. It looks like she has something she needs to address. I'm just saying. But I digress. This is what the Telegraph posted. It says Ruthie Henshall's new memoir depicts Charles as a warm and loving father. But of course, the whining Duke of Sussex's recollections vary, writes Celia Ward. Now, where she is getting this from is this book, this new memoir from Ruthie Henshall. And Ruthie Henshall is a ex-girlfriend of Prince Edward. And it's my understanding that she is a former showgirl. Now, I don't know if she was like a real showgirl or if she just calls herself a showgirl, because the name of her memoir is The Showgirl and the Prince. So I hadn't read the book, so I don't know if she literally means that she was a showgirl. You know what? We had a really, really popular country song here in America called I Like My Women on the Trashy Side. It seems that those Windsor men really are in line with that song, don't you think? Because when you really look at the women that they have chose, they're all on the trashy side except Harry. Now, Edward, he dated this woman, I think 4 or 5 years, and she was a showgirl. At least that's what she says in the title of her memoir. And, it was a very, very famous romance between Koo Starks and Prince Andrew. And she was a soft porn actress. And Willie married his stalker, and she ran the honeypot on him. And that's how she got him. And allegedly, all of his friends had ran through her by the time he got to her. And they had dubbed her the mattress. That was her nickname in college, allegedly. And the one that topped them all was King Charles III. Yes, he went and married his horse. Y'all, I am getting too messy. I'm cracking myself up. Yes, but he did. He married his side piece. And one of the most notorious bed hoppers in Great Britain. Yeah, I gotta stop. I'm getting really messy. I'm cracking myself up. But he made her queen. He absolutely gave her the big hat. He did everything he could to get rid of the most elegant, beautiful, kind, sweet, wonderful woman, Princess Diana, and went and got a bed hopper, a horse, one that looks like she has been rode hard and put up with. That is who Charles decided that he wanted to sit beside him on the throne. And now it's being reported that they are not getting along. Yes, I saw a panel discussion where they were saying that. And just knowing that just really brings joy to my heart, because looking back at all the things that he was willing to do in order to have that woman at his side, and now to know that everything that they did was in vain because now they really can't stand each other. I love it. But I digress. We're going to talk about this article. Now, I did not go and read the article over on the Telegraph. I only give them a click or engagement only when I have to. Just so happened Kaiser over at Celebrity wrote a article about the article, and that is what we're going to get into. Now, Kaiser's article is titled Walden, Prince Harry Proves Therapy Makes Children Judge Their Parents Too Harshly. And how this woman came to this conclusion, she took what Harry said about Charles in Spare and totally and completely dismissed it because a woman who briefly saw Charles playing with his children on one occasion and thought that Charles was a kind and wonderful father. Now, I'm not saying that Charles never played with his children. I'm not saying that this woman didn't see what she saw. But I would rather take what Harry said, someone with a lived experience, than someone who just had one encounter with Charles and his children. But let's get into what Kaiser has written and what this article says. And this is what Kaiser says in the beginning of the article. She says, "For years now, I have wondered if King Charles, someone who loves to read, has ever actually read his son's memoir, Spare. From the way the courtiers brief, it feels like Charles was giving a broad stroke of Prince Harry's memoir, and the courtiers recommended that he skipped it. If Charles ever bothered to read Spare, I think he would be genuinely surprised by how much Harry loves him and yearns to understand his father and have a closer relationship with him." And I believe that. I really believe that Harry really yearns to have a closer relationship with Charles. Because if he didn't, why does he keep on trying? It is so many squatties have said that time and time and time again. I have said it. Why does Harry keep on trying? Why? Why? Because he yearns to have a relationship with Charles. Now, do I think Charles is worthy of Harry's love? I absolutely do not. He is so unworthy. Charles is trash. He has proven that time and time and time again. Because how do you strip your son of his security? He has a small child and his wife. They're on a isolated island, and you drop a dime on their location, so all the flying monkeys and God only know who else could locate them and harm them. I, that is something I will never ever be able to get past when it comes to Charles. Evidently, Harry has gotten past it, but it's something I could never get past because he literally acted as if he could have cared less if Harry and his family lived or died. I mean, it is mind blowing to me that he did that. As a parent, you don't always agree with what your children are doing, their decisions. But one thing is always at the forefront of everything you do, and that is the safety of your children and your grandchildren. And Charles pretty much acted as if he could have cared less about the life of his child. That is the reason why I will forever see Charles as trash. A trash father, a trash grandfather, a trash king. He is trash. And Kaiser goes on to say, Harry has tried everything he can think of to communicate with Charles and make peace, and Charles continues to behave like a pathetic deadbeat. Well, the British commentators continue with their juvenile games on this front. The latest is Ruthie Henshall's memoir, The Showgirl and the Prince, about her brief fling with Prince Edward. Henshall includes some memories of seeing Charles play with William and Harry when they were kids. Commentators have treated this like a gotcha for Harry because they are convinced that Harry bashed his father for the entirety of Spare. Now, Piers Morgan's wife, Celia Ward, has written a Telegraph column about Prince Harry proving therapy makes children judge their parents too harshly. And this is what she said in the article. She was pretty much talking about Charles's parenting style. According to this Ruthie Henshall, who only saw Charles a handful of times and pretty much said that this was a one-off situation where she observed Charles playing with his children. But context be damned when they are trying to push their agenda. And this is what she said also. She said, certainly it's a different picture to the one that the Duke of Sussex painted in his own memoir, Spare, even the title of which seems to contain a grievance. And when it was first published 3 years ago, 3 years ago, Spare was published 3 years ago. And we are still getting articles about Spare. This is my problem with these people. They say they want Meghan and Harry to be quiet. They say they want Meghan and Harry to live a private life. They say they want Meghan and Harry not in the public eye. And when Meghan and Harry are minding their business, they go do old nonsense stuff like this. Harry and Meghan can say nothing. They can be minding their business, and these people do nothing but reach back, get something, and try to make it new, all in this overpowering need of theirs to keep Harry and Meghan's names in their mouths. They have a whole king and queen and future king and queen dumb as a rock right there in their country, and they still can't help themselves. They cannot leave Harry and Meghan alone. She goes on to say, much was made of the claim peppered throughout the early years that the monarch was always a bit checked out, that he had trouble communicating, trouble listening, trouble being intimate face to face. Well, we can look at Charles and tell. I mean, from a distance, you can figure that out. He's always walking around looking like he has one of those olive branches from the royal olive tree stuck up his butt. And we saw Charles how he behaved when he got a little ink on his hand and when he had too many things on his desk. So you're telling me that this man was a patient and loving father that did not have meltdowns, that was loving and warm towards his children? Get out of here. Harry said what he said. And what he said was Charles was distant and cold. And when his mother was killed, he came in there, told him, did not hug him, put his hand on his knee and said she was gone. Then got up, turned around, and left Harry to process it on his own. And make of it as you will, but anybody who has a little, just a tiny minute of intellectual honesty will all come to the same conclusion, and that is Charles is a trash father. But then she goes on in the article to let Charles off the hook, saying that we need to be more tolerant to the older generation, that the mothers give children more hugs, more cuddles than the father. Well, what about the father spending time with his son who is begging him to spend time with him after the child's mother was killed? And he packs him up and sends him right back to school immediately after the funeral and instructs the staff at the school not to talk about his mother. Yes, this is what Charles did. Charles was busy laying the groundwork so he could clear the way so his horse could be clean. He didn't have no time for Harry, and let's not pretend any different. Now, Harry can forgive him, Harry can move on, but the truth is the truth. I mean, the pictures are there for everyone to see. Harry was mistreated. Harry was treated like a pauper in a rich family. He was never given anything. Harry was a real live Cinderella. He was. Everybody around him had plenty. He had nothing. He had holes in his pants, holes in his shoes. What he wore was too big. He was absolutely neglected. And on top of that, that horse, that bed hopper looked at that little 12-year-old boy and decided that he would be her ticket to the throne. And Charles signed off on that, briefing and planning stories and doing everything that they could to use him as a way to elevate her to the throne and to get Charles off the hook because people hated him because he treated Diana the way he did and she died. So they used Harry. They used Willie too, but not as much as they used Harry. So get out of here, Celia, because you know not what you speak of. Because Harry showed so much grace for Charles and his bed hopping side piece. Because if it had been anybody else, they would have burned it all down. And this is what Kaiser said in closing. Again, I come out of spare knowing that Harry loved his deadbeat father dearly, but was disappointed in many choices Charles made. I think therapy has helped Harry understand and textualize the neglect and trauma of his childhood and early adulthood. What's funny about I do not worry about how harshly therapy culture has made us judge our parents retrospectively is that after years of therapy, Harry is still trying, often in vain, to have a relationship with Charles. And in my opinion, at this point, Harry is not the one who really needs therapy. It's Charles and Willie. They are emotionally stunted. If I had to guess their emotional age, I would probably say around 10 years old. And that is the reason why they continue with this nonsense. This is why they fall for the okie doke that these so called courtiers are feeding to them. That is the reason why that monarchy is a slow motion car crash at this point. Because these people do not have the ability to look at their situation and be reasonable and rational and mature. Because maturity is not a trait that you find at the tippy top of that monarchy. I'm just saying. And one of my favorite squatties, Henry VIII, posted that article from the Telegraph that Celia Ward wrote and said, revisionism, so severe even readers of the Telegraph aren't interested. Lots of attempts to clean up Charles's legacy in the last few months. No, well, it's going to take more than an article from someone like Celia Ward to do that. I cannot with these people. But yeah, it is happening. They are busy trying to rewrite history. That's why it is so important for squatties to be out here and pushing back. And absolutely in those comments, reminding them that we're not going to have it. We're not going to allow you to rewrite history and make Harry and Meghan the bad guys while you, in return, become the victim. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to be allowed. I know sometimes we get tired of pushing back and talking about these different articles and what they're saying, but this is why it's important. Because if we don't push back, if we don't talk about it, if we don't tell the truth, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? And people will believe what they read. If they don't read anything differently, if it's no pushback, if it's no receipts presented, if it's no critique of their version of the truth, then guess what? People start believing their version. That is the reason why we do this. And I am going to play y'all a soundbite. And it is of Robert Jobson because I have two articles from Robert Jobson. One is about when he was on the Daily Beast podcast and what he said there. And the other one is what he said in the Daily Express. And everything that he has said is so crazy to me, so wacky to me. It's as if Harry and Meghan's success has driven him around the bend, through the valley, and up the hill. I mean, he is sounding just that crazy. But like I said, I'm going to play a sound bite of him being interviewed in Australia when Harry and Meghan was in Australia, and how crazy and mad and frustrated he got just with a little pushback. This woman was only pushing back and trying to get him to see things rationally. I mean, being rational is not something that none of those people across the pond, and when I say none of those people, I'm talking about the flying monkeys and that family, have the ability to use. When I hear them discussing Harry and Meghan, saying that Harry and Meghan have their own court in Montecito, I'm like, are y'all crazy? What century are y'all living in? This is the craziness that these people are spewing. It's as if they live with an alternative reality. I don't know, but like I said, I'm going to play this soundbite and we'll talk on the other side.
His breakfast programme, Sunrise on Channel 5. Robert Jobson is not a big fan of this trip, are you, Rob? So I guess you're following this closely. Is your audience not fascinated?
Oh, the audience is fascinated. The media love it, and the television loves it. But that's not really the point, is it? I think it's what it's all about. I mean, they've come over to Australia. It's very show busy. The media are having a ball. The newspapers are selling. The problem will be is when there's a 45,000 number petition, I think, a 45,000 number petition about them not coming, and you've got the monarchist league saying if they even hint at a republic or say anything slightly wrong, they're going to be writing to the king to have them stripped of their titles.
They're not going to do that, though, are they? I mean, you sort of...
No, they're too busy cashing in, Rachel.
Well, they're visiting a lot of charities and they're also making some money. And listen, they're private citizens. And if people want to pay money to go and see them, who cares? You yourself said, like loads of people, crowds of people are going out to see them. The papers are loving it.
I love it, Rachel.
Yeah,
I love it.
So, given that we're living in a time where a lot of people feel the royal family is an anachronism, when you've got two young people like this who seem to be able to engage quite effectively with a younger audience, doesn't that
Are they young?
energise?
Are they 40? Is that young now? Is it? I don't know.
Well, but doesn't that energise interest in the royal family, even if they are sort of royal adjacent these days?
Who's living with cancer is going to Washington, and we had a big briefing on it yesterday, and the whole thing has been blown out of the water by pictures of Harry and Meghan. That's a far more important thing that's going on in Washington than what those two.
The king isn't there yet.
By the local
he's not there yet, so let's see what the coverage will be like.
But Rachel, the announcement was yesterday. The proper decent thing was yesterday. That we had all the briefing. It's been blown out the water. So look, if you just want showbiz, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
I mean, the charities who they're visiting, they're around men's mental health, children's hospital, services for veterans. They will be delighted to have the kind of exposure that these two bring, won't they?
And so they should, and there's good that comes out of it, because those kids in the cancer hospital, made their day, and that's fantastic. But I just say that, the only thing I would say is, yes, what do you want your monarchy to be? I think that's what it is. And really, they decided they were being... and in some cases, they probably were having difficulty with the media, but they wanted to be private citizens. It now seems they want to be back doing royal tours. It's almost like, well, it's not quite the same parallel.
Australia is not Nazi.
It's a Commonwealth. No, I never said it was. That's a perversion of what I'm saying. It's more for the monarchy.
Neil in London says this. Why is there so much fuss about Harry when he's so much better than some of the rest of the family? Another one here.
Why did he read Walter Badger? He'll find out what the constitutional monarchy is.
Okay. Jackie in London says, Harry and Meghan are private citizens. They don't cost the British taxpayer anything. Why should it matter to us if organisations across the world want to invite them to visit and speak at events?
Because it's a Commonwealth.
Let me read what else Jackie says. Hang on.
That's why I'm answering the question.
Hang on, Rob. Jackie also says, I suspect the problem for royal commentators, I think that might be you, is that
I'm
current...
not a royal. I'm a royal author, actually. Best
Author,
thing, number
okay.
one, Sunday Times, Belly Roll. No, the
Perfect.
reason it's
No, let me
important
finish
is
her
because the
point,
king
Rob.
well, let me finish the point of what I'm saying. The Commonwealth, it's not just another country. It's a Commonwealth realm where his father is the king.
Jackie says, I suspect the problem for royal commentators / authors is that current royal family members don't attract much interest internationally. They don't connect with the younger audience or attract this much press attention. So that's our view.
I just think that you're trying to turn the royal family into...
So that's our view. Well, I actually give them a lot more credit than you do.
Well, I don't,
I
because
think
some of those questions were utterly ridiculous. It's a Commonwealth realm. The taxpayers of Australia are paying
show
for
some
it. Therefore,
respect to the 5 Live audience, please. Robert
well,
Jobson.
I think I've had enough time. Anyway, have a nice day. But
You too.
Do a bit of reading.
And
do a bit of reading.
And enjoy the ratings when they come in.
He embarrassed himself. He absolutely did. And he was so arrogant, telling her to do a bit of reading. She was telling him something that he needed to read about. I mean, it is so crazy that these people want to try to dismiss Harry and Meghan. And like she said, they're pretty much the only ones that anybody wants to see. But he doesn't want to hear that. He doesn't want to hear that because he knows that Charles and his horse and Willie and Kitty, the future king and queen dumb as a rock, they cannot draw flies at this point. That is the reason why I will never ever believe that Harry and Meghan will ever return as full-time working royals. Meghan will never return as a working royal. If anything, Harry might do it part-time. I'm thinking he's not even going to do that. He is just going to be able to come and do his charity work, hopefully in peace. But they will never, ever, ever allow what happened in Australia to happen in the UK. They will never, ever allow Harry and Meghan to draw that kind of crowd on UK soil. Willie and Kitty would collectively have a major aneurysm. They couldn't handle it. Harry and Meghan drawing crowds like they did in Australia. You see how Robert Jobson was flipping out? I just don't understand these people, but I do know that Harry and Meghan will never be working royals again. I think we can put that one to bed because they know if Harry and Meghan become working royals, the rest of the left behinds become irrelevant. This is an article that Kaiser wrote over at Celebrity, and she is writing about Robert Jobson's appearance on the Daily Beast podcast and some of the crazy things that he talked about with Tom Thumbhead Sites. The title of the article is Jobson, King Charles' reconciliation with Harry is creating a problem for Willie. And I want him to explain that because in the article, he never made it clear about what he was talking about. He never explained what he meant by saying that Charles reconciling with Harry, how that created a problem for William. He never ever cleared that up. But let's get into what Kaiser said. She said, for the past year or so, the Mail's Richard Eden has been going on and on about Project Thaw, which he believes is a secret British establishment plot to bring back the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Eden often writes of Project Thaw from the perspective of Prince William is furious and he refuses to go along with any of these plans. Now, I don't believe it is an establishment plot to bring back Harry and Meghan. I really don't believe that. Because Harry and Meghan are happy in Montecito. Why in the world would a free bird return to its cage and lock the door? It makes no sense. But I will say this. William is furious because he knows if Harry and Meghan should return, him and Kitty are done. Yes, they're toast. Harry and Meghan has more shine in their little finger than Kitty and Willie have in their entire body, and they know this. That is the reason why they're so adamant about Harry and Meghan not returning, because they know who they are and they know who Harry and Meghan is. That's all it's about. All this made up grievance that Willie's supposed to have, him and Kitty, it's made up, just like I said. It is masking the fact that these two mediocre people know exactly who they are, and that's mediocre. And they don't want excellence to show up anytime soon and show them up. Now, Kaiser says she does believe that it is an establishment attempt to simply break the Sussex stalemate, that, just to calm the waters. Because at the end of the day, as this rumbles on, it's only one loser, and that is the monarchy. Kaiser said, the more I think about Project Thought and King Charles' recent moves, the more I believe there is a high-level establishment attempt to simply break the Sussex stalemate more than anything else. It's been nearly 7 years since Harry and Meghan left Isle de Saltine, and those saltines have never recovered. Now, Lord knows that's the truth. I'm telling you, it's as if Harry and Meghan lives in London and hadn't went anywhere. All of the flying monkeys, the haters, the toadies, and the trolls, they have not moved on an inch since Harry and Meghan packed their bags and threw up their 2 fingers and said deuces. They are right in the very same place. So, yeah, it says from the UK side, it's been 7 years of chaos, mismanagement, and a monarchy in profound cultural decline. This is, I feel, why King Charles brought in Theo Rycroft, and it's likely why Clive Alderton has been pushed out. The conspiracy isn't let's bring Harry and Meghan back. It's more like we cannot keep banging our heads against the wall in hopes that Harry will come crawling back. We need a new strategy. I bring all this up because Robert Jobson has been on a tear in recent weeks about how unfair all these machinations are for Prince William. Now, Kaiser makes a great point, and I tend to agree with her, that it's not about bringing Harry and Meghan back. I don't think Harry and Meghan would come back even if they wanted them to. But I think it is about stopping the bleeding when it comes to that monarchy. They really thought Harry and Meghan was really going to be the victim in all of this. They never anticipated the blowback and the damage that that institution would suffer for their treatment of Harry and Meghan. They really thought that they could get away with it without any consequences. Little did they know, this is a new day and a new age. We have social media. It is always going to be some blowback. I'm just saying. And the excerpt from this article starts like this. It says, a top royal reporter predicts that a mishap by King Charles may have devastating consequences when time comes for his eldest son to take the crown. Journalist Rob Jobson tells the Royalist podcast that Charles' rekindled relationship with his once estranged son, Prince Harry, 41, may cause issues for his 44-year-old heir, Prince William, down the line. That is batshit crazy. How? How so? But I digress. It goes on to say, are you not just creating a problem for William? I think you probably are, because if you let Harry in a little bit, We've seen before. You give him an inch, he'll take a yard, Jobson said. I want him to explain that to me. Why are they so terrified of Harry reconciling with Charles? It is fear in their hearts. Because who says this? If you give Harry an inch, he'll take a yard. And act as if this is something that Harry has done. Like Harry is some kind of criminal. He's some kind of bad person. That he is Andrew. It makes no sense how these people are talking about Harry. And all these vague terms that they use, they never can put their finger on what Harry has done. But they make it out and pretend as if Harry has committed something just short of murder. I mean, this man is talking like Harry has hurt somebody. I mean, really hurt somebody. You don't get this kind of hyperbolic language when it comes to Prince Andrew. I mean, they don't talk about him like this. It is crazy to me. Y'all tell me what y'all think. And it says Royalist host Tom Thumbhead Sykes added that he fears Charles does not always put the monarchy first as his mother did. Why are these people so scared? To me, this is fear mongering. And this whole conversation between Jabbo and Tom Thumbhead Sykes smells of desperation and fear. I'm smelling that. It seems that it is people who are afraid of Harry's return. Could it be they have something to fear? What is going on here? It goes on and says, when it came down to it, the queen, when she was forced to choose, she always put the institution first. He said she always put the monarchy first, and it cost her a huge amount of heartache and sadness to boot Andrew out of the institution to do what she did. I just feel that sometimes Charles does not put the institution and the monarchy first. Let's not rewrite history, boys, because we know that the queen did nothing until she had to. She even tried to rehabilitate his image. Y'all remember riding to church with him, having him walk her into church for Prince Philip's memorial? Come on now, stop it. These people need to stop it. I mean the nonsense saying that Queen Elizabeth put the monarchy first when it came to Prince Andrew. If she had put the monarchy first, she would have shut him down before he got started. He would have never been in the JE files. She was fully aware of who and what Andrew was about, and she never ever tried to stop him. It is evidence that the queen even knew that he was giving away classified information to the pedo. Did she shut it down? No. She covered it up until the last. To her dying day, she covered up for Andrew. So miss me with this ridiculousness. The queen did nothing. She did not put the monarchy first. Now, she absolutely did not do anything to help Harry and Meghan, the ones that she should have helped. But she chose to help the pedo. So miss me. Miss me with this revisionary history, because I cannot stomach it. And then he goes on to compare Harry to Andrew, but then say he's not comparing Harry to Andrew, saying that Harry hadn't done anything close to what Andrew has done, but still not saying what Harry has done. I mean, this whole article, they never say one thing that Harry has done. It makes no sense. And all the vitriol. Why are you so mad? And you can't come up with one thing that Harry has done. And listen to this. He said, this is what Jabbo said. And I think it is because if you start inviting Harry back into the fold when he's deeply unpopular, and so is his wife, no matter what nobody says, he may have had a bit of a rise in the poll, but he's deeply unpopular, and quite rightly in my view. That's what he said. Harry and Meghan are deeply unpopular. And if you bring them back, I mean, you have to be an idiot to believe anything that comes out of their mouths. And Jabbo is over there breathing hard and trying to catch his breath and still have not said one thing that Harry has done wrong except lie and say Harry is deeply unpopular and so is his wife. I tell you what, let's test out the theory. Let Harry and Meghan do some engagements in the UK and let's see how unpopular they are. They'll never do that because they have to carry the lie through. They know Harry and Meghan are not deeply unpopular. They know who's deeply unpopular. And they know if Harry and Meghan hit the stage, the audience will show up. And in conclusion, this is what Kaiser said. Reframe all of this. What if Charles is trying to make a last-ditch effort to reconcile with the Sussexes for the good of the monarchy because he knows William will screw it all up? Charles sees that the Sussex situation cannot remain as it is indefinitely, and he is making a slow, plotty attempt to not have the Sussex as a huge gaping wound on the monarchy because he knows William won't do it or can't do it. I honestly think Charles is trying to outmaneuver William here and create a reconciliation deal which William will have to honor, or I am overthinking it. It makes sense though. I don't know what those people are doing, to be honest. Now, I am still not 100% believing that Charles is doing what we think he's doing. I believe he maybe was forced into that because Harry was taking his family to the Spencers, and they did everything they could to stop that. So, because of that, it's hard for me to believe that Charles is doing what Kaiser is saying he's doing. I don't know. I have to sit back and watch a little while longer before I come to a conclusion because I don't trust Charles as far as I can pick him up and throw him. And the next article I'm going to talk about is about Jabbo as well. He was over there with Kinsey Schofield and he lost his SHIT. And Kaiser writes about it. And the title of the article is Jobson, It's Not Fair That Prince William Will Have to Solve the Harry Problem. Yes, saying Harry is a problem. To me, this all sounds very sinister. Reducing Harry down to a issue. Yeah, dehumanizing him. I don't like that. I don't like any of this talk. It is some craziness going on here. And Jabbo pretty much says what he said in the other article. All that craziness about it's not fair to William, Harry is a problem, never even stating what Harry has done, comparing him to Andrew, then saying he's not comparing him to Andrew. Just some batshit crazy behavior out of Jabbo. I just want to read this paragraph. It says Jobson fumed on the YouTube program. Whatever happens here is going to be short-lived because Harry has described William as his arch nemesis. He took that out of context. Harry said that William sees him as his arch nemesis. Y'all remember that? That was in the Harry and Meghan documentary. Harry never said it in the context on which Jabo is using it. And then he says, well, William at some stage in the future, with the king living with cancer, is going to be in charge of the purse strings. He's going to be in charge of the whole train set. He's not going to have his brother who annihilated his wife. When did Harry annihilate Kitty? You see how they are just cultivating the victimhood. Harry did not annihilate Kitty, but like I said, they cultivate this victimhood in order to justify their hatred, to justify why they really hate Harry and Meghan, and it's because of their shine. It is because they are better at everything than Willie and Kitty are. If they wasn't, Willie and Kitty would not copy them all the time. They copy them and then hate them because they have to copy them. And that's all this is about. And him saying that he is going to control the purse strings. So what? Harry and Meghan have their own money, but he's saying this to try to put out into the universe to make people believe that Harry and Meghan is somehow begging for money. Stop it. Charles is not giving Harry and Meghan any money, and Harry and Meghan aren't asking him for any. And he even sit there and insinuated that it maybe is talks going on right now about who was going to pay for that stitched up lawsuit Harry had with the Daily Fail. I kid you not. He's saying and suggesting that Charles will pay for that lawsuit. And all I can say is, I hope he does, because he helped to stitch it up. Because if it wasn't stitched up, Harry would have won that lawsuit. So he should pay. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but that's what I think. I think he should pay. And then he goes on to talk about the queen like he did in the last article, saying that she always put the monarchy first and how Charles is not doing so. And he even called Harry his darling boy. Just crazy stuff. You saw how he acted in that clip that I played. He has not stopped spinning. I don't know what has gotten into Jabo. I don't know why he's so mad, but I think it's because he does not get the revenue from being a royal commentator like he used to. He used to be on ABC. He used to be all on American television. And now, since Harry and Meghan lives in America and Harry and Meghan has shut them down completely, he gets nothing. He has to run around and be on these podcasts on the YouTube. And you know, he's not getting paid much. I bet he is mad because he can barely afford to go to McDonald's anymore. You know how he feels about his Big Mac. I don't know. Maybe he's not mad. Maybe he's just hungry.
That is funny.
Now, I'm going to throw this out there. And y'all tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think this whole new Jabo that has showed up, I mean just red hot, yelling, screaming, and spittle coming out of his mouth, do y'all think just maybe he might be getting some money from Kensington Palace to do this? Because his income went down a lot. And so people will do something funny for a little bit of money. It could be that Jabo is doing something a little strange for a little piece of change, if you know what I mean. And I also want to talk about this article, and it is about Carol Middleton. And it says that Carol Middleton wants credit for creating the Middleton model parenting style. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to read the article, but let me tell you, the comments are absolutely chef's kiss. And one squatties in the comments said, "What is the Middleton's parenting style? Teaching your children not to pay their bills?" Because let's not forget, Carol still has not paid the cake maker for Willie and Kitty's wedding cake. And you know that's all they had to pay for, and they didn't even pay for the cake. So, yeah, you don't teach your children not to pay their bills and file bankruptcy so you don't have to pay your debtors. And they are so desperate to get paid that they make flyers and nail them up on every tree and post in Buckleberry where you live, and the flyers saying, "It's better have my money." Is that the parenting style that you're referring to? Or the parenting style of raising a daughter whose only accolade is that she was able to land a dumb prince by running the honeypot? Now, I'm not being down on Carol because she absolutely is at the top of her craft because she was able to take a very mediocre daughter who is dumb as a rock and parlay that into her becoming the queen of the United Kingdom. Now, you cannot deny those skills. You cannot. And so I will give her her props. All I can say is she should take her skills down to the local university and teach classes on how to run the proper honeypot because she got skills now. She has skills. And this, what he said, she raised a mean-spirited drunk and a racist. Is that what you're going to teach them, Carol? Saying that she wants credit. And also in this article, saying that Queen Elizabeth really liked Carol. Yeah, if she had saw Carol at that racetrack acting like a chicken looking for a worm, I mean, so embarrassing. So embarrassing to the point where Kate had to come up there and admonish her and make her get somewhere and sit down because she was just doing entirely too much. All right, y'all, I want to talk about this just for a minute because I'm running out of time. But this is an article that popped up, I'll say about 2 weeks ago. And Jack Royston was talking about how Harry and Meghan are losing to Willie and Kitty, the AI war. And I was like, what? But then I start seeing more and more of these little AI videos of Willie and Kitty. And I'm like, is this what Jack Royston was talking about when he said how Prince Harry and Meghan are losing the AI war with the royals? Is this what Jack Royston was talking about in this article? I mean, these silly little videos that pop up on my timeline. It is so strange to me to see all these AI videos, and they really think that that is something that they should be doing. I mean, it makes no sense. They really think that Harry and Meghan should be involved in putting AI videos of them out. Why would they do that? Harry and Meghan actually have a personality. When they go out, people are interested in what they're doing, what they're saying, and what they're involved in. They don't need AI videos to try to fool people into believing that they're funny, that they're witty, that they can dance, that they love one another, because they can do all that in real life. Kitty and Willie have to do that. And so, because of this, I'm going to show you a couple, maybe 3 of these AI videos, and I want you to get a kiki. And this is the positive thing that I am going to end with. Did y'all see that? Yes, at the end they put Harry in there. Yes, Harry and Meghan are behind when it comes to AI. What y'all think? I think Harry and Meghan needs to stay behind. All right, y'all. Y'all know I always enjoy my time with y'all, and I will see y'all soon. And if you want to support the channel, it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Just look below, click those three little dots, and you should see the super thanks button. And if you see a hype button, please, please, please hype your girl up because it really, really helps the channel to grow, and I just would appreciate it so very much. Also, if you want to be a channel member and you want to be a part of the reading club, it's a link below for that as well. And if you're watching on the television, just click my picture, click join, and follow the prompts. Also, I have so many ways in my bio for you to support the channel. I have Zelle, I have PayPal, and I have Buy Me a Coffee. Now, if you don't want to be bothered with YouTube, just scurry on over there to patreon.com/sororread. And I have a reading club over there as well. Now, you can support me over there or you can just join for free because I'm always posting. And when I can't get away with posting something here on YouTube, I will post it on Patreon. So go ahead on and join for free. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all a little later. Bye.